Hey, this is Notser, and today I wanted to take a look at the Belfast in 2021. It's been a while. I had a great game in it, so I felt like it makes sense to talk about my strategy in this game and what I'm looking to do. Obviously, you can see the build on the screen. Apologies for not having it sort of built from the ground up for it. But as far as modules are concerned, main armament, extended duration radar, it's a radar ship, improved gun accuracy. You could go turret, but gun accuracy is going to give you a little bit more consistent shell damage on broadside. Faster rudder, and improved concealment. Those are great skills. It is a 7. It does get a 5-slot module. That's one of the reasons why this ship is not available anymore. For the commander, faster turret traverse, expert loader, incoming fire alert, priority target, the AA skill, the 2-point AA skill, adrenaline rush, which is, catch-all, superintendent, concealment, and then the 4-point AA skill. I have absolutely really enjoyed my cruisers with the AA skills. It doesn't clear out the aircraft carrier, of course, but it is reliable in its power, and I can lean on that to protect myself pretty effectively. Obviously, preventative maintenance is a skill that is desperately desired by all cruisers because it keeps you from having incapacitation on certain things, but that's a skill that's gone. So, in 2021, as you are seeing this, my recommended playstyle for the Belfast, you can do your smoke radar. That's the bread and butter of this. But it's not the only tool in your toolbox. You don't need that to be. So, as I'm approaching A point, I'm trying to use my radar to extend over the entire capture radius. That way, whatever happens to be capturing this, I can spot it, and in 30 seconds, we should be able to kill it or force it out. Friendly is able to pop smoke, so I don't need to use mine for this. So I can remain 100% aggressive without necessarily risking too much, and we overrun the smoke a little bit, and we're in the open, so people are going to fire at us. So because people are firing at us, incoming fire alert is constantly flickering in the detection area of the screen. That's okay. And for high rate of fire DDs or light cruisers, it's kind of spam all the time. But battleships and heavier cruisers and slower reload, you can reliably go with your momentum in one direction, have the person fire on you, drop your speed, and turn. And it does a great job, and the Belfast can absolutely handle this. It obviously doesn't have torpedoes like the Tier 8 Belfast, the Belfast 43. I actually have a good game in that as well that I want to show off. But I just wanted to try and provide you guys with an updated impression, how I would approach it in 2021. Hopefully this can be something that I can reliably release for you guys, because I definitely think that there's plenty of people who have questions. So, radar, Just want to talk about one thing in particular. This is not really related to the Belfast 7, the Tier 7 Belfast and strategy. If you're a DD and you notice there's no aircraft carrier, there's only 2 enemy DDs, there's 2 friendly DDs. One enemy DD is spotted on the east side right now. The other enemy DD was forced off by radar. You, as the DD, should be capturing A point. There's really no excuse. Having the objective forces the enemy to potentially compromise their ship's safety. Now, the Belfast is really good at providing that sort of close support. Obviously, it could duck into smoke. The 43 can also do it. The 43 actually has torpedoes as well. But this Belfast can duck in smoke if I need to, and I can reliably, on cooldown, fire. It's got HE, it's got AP, it's great. The Atlanta goes down, and ooh, there's the DD. So, a light cruiser running up on a DD. This is heaven, man. If we take this guy out, they're gonna be down the DD on this flank, and this basically unlocks it for our DD to always keep the enemy spotted and to give us a reliable chance. Now, I compromised my ship's sailing so that I could have all guns on that guy and kill him before he dropped off. I wasn't sure why he was spotted. I wasn't about to risk losing the opportunity to kill him in that instance. Anytime that you're given an opportunity to kill a target with maybe the use of a cooldown, you should take it every single time. Now, you could be in a situation where, oh, I don't know. In that situation, the target was so low, I didn't really want to use radar because I didn't think I needed to use it in order to get the target dead. And that's exactly how it worked it out. You'll get more comfortable as you get familiar with this game, and you'll recognize the situations where you can sort of cheat not using the consumable and relying on the situation to give you the necessary information. Ooh, friendlies take out that cruiser. I noticed that enemy battleship that's just behind the Colorado is not in gun range, so I am completely fine firing as long as the Colorado stays behind the island. So I'm just going to fire on cooldown. We do get a fire, which is good. If the target is ever slightly angled like this, HE all the way. Don't even play with AP. Honestly, as a light cruiser, you should only load AP if you absolutely know the target is broadside and you can pin. Otherwise, stick with HE. And this is sort of a counterpoint. I noticed, Notser, that your build does not have IFHE. Why don't you use IFHE on a high explosive light cruiser? Well, I don't feel like using IFHE on a light cruiser benefits me too much in most of my matchups. Obviously, against battleships, it is very helpful because they have the armor threshold that you cross. But against DDs and cruisers, and even broadside battleships, IFHE as a skill is useless and in fact takes away from your power in those matchups. Lower chance of flood and fire, right? I mean, lower chance of fire. Boy, if you could flood people with HE, it'd be so broken. But anyway, IFHE with a light cruiser is really only to improve that light cruiser's effectiveness in the battleship matchup. The other classes, it doesn't really help. It actually hurts them. So I'm really a believer in switching to armor piercing if they're broadside, firing HE at the superstructure if they are bow or any other angle that you're trying, and just relying on your location to hit the superstructure so you can pin reliably there. Now, yeah, of course it'll be fully absorbed at some point, but the bow and the stern are not easy targets either. So, enemy cruiser, he's in the center of the map. I choose to use my smoke here. This is kind of the bread and butter of the Belfast smoke radar. One of the reasons why it's no longer available, because the smoke is just so full, long duration, it's hard to punish. But, it's working out well. He's showing a broadside. I switched to AP. I'm aiming at the waterline, hoping to punish, and we do. And our legendary commander actually procs his talent, and we get extra charges of hydro, smoke, and the radar. I absolutely love the new commander skills with regard to the legendary commanders. They have such massive value now. It's honestly hard to not recommend it if you really enjoy a faction. If you really like playing American ships, you should get Halsey. If you like Japanese, you should get Yamamoto. Because any premium that you play with, you can have that guy assigned with, however many points. And investing in that legendary commander, that investment carries over to all the other premiums that you might have them in. Obviously, not everyone has premiums, coming out of their ports. But I figure, people are trying to get all the information so they can make an informed decision. And for me, it's been fabulous to use my commander in this. And whoop! Well, now, we did not expect this situation. This is not what we would like. We are absolutely broadside to this guy, and I think he did fire AP at us, and we burned down that other ship. I'm trying to duck into cover so bad. This is very vulnerable. If he locates his AP just right, I'm pretty much dead. I am just trying desperately to place that island in between his AP shell and my ship. And we've run up against the Surrey. This is the British heavy cruiser. The British heavy cruiser obviously, does a good job, but it has light armor, so the light cruiser can easily pin from any angle. And if he does show too much side, we're going to switch to AP. I don't really feel too threatened. I wish I had Hydro, but I don't. That's okay. So, 12 over pin. He returns fire. We've got good angle. It's more important that you have good angle for his return fire than necessarily the damage return. You'll notice that I'm able to take him out, but I still have good angle, and ooh, are we able to fit ourselves over here with the torpedoes? Oh, just barely, and we have absolutely no health. The Belfast and the British lights, they are glass cannon, but the Belfast is the most glass cannon of them all. Obviously, being in the open and not using smoke is dangerous, but honestly, the reward for playing it's just too much to pass on. So we did a good job. We're going back towards this guy. I feel like I could reliably engage him, potentially. I don't feel necessarily that anyone else can punish me. But the nicest thing that I have is that smoke. And that's the same reliable out that you can use in the Belfast 43. However, their smoke, it's not a long duration smoke. It's much more like a daring smoke or a Jutland. It's a short duration, 40, 50 seconds, basically the time that radar would exist, and then it's gone. So I slowly approach this. I have HE loaded. It's not really the best shell or the angle on him. Friendly send torpedoes though, very easy kill, and this was a complete waste of my smoke. So I'm trying to hope that this enemy comes back in range so I can farm on cooldown. But I'm like, I would really like to just cap this base. This is a game that we're already winning. We should win harder, and one of the ways that we can win harder is to have a third base. 3-1 versus 2-2. It'll end the game much faster, and the enemy, if they want to try and come back, they have to obviously rush in, where you should be able to set up a ambush and use it. So we're just capturing. Friendly DD, for whatever reason, he is rushing this guy, and I don't necessarily think that's the right call because it's an ISMA. Soviet battleships get more accurate, much more accurate, at close range. So they go from feeling something like a shotgun from range to something like a precision Russian engineered tool. And I just don't understand why you would approach like that. But, it's the DD. He chose to make that choice, and we can't change that. All we can do is exist in the game that he exists in, and whatever your teammate may or may not do, and I'm sure there's a lot of not doing for many people, it's okay if they fail. Because we were able to set up such a great success leading to that moment. It's not really that critical that the DD play great. And, the Belfast is something where it's really good at working on targets that are going for objectives and hiding itself and protecting itself with hydro. That's kind of its bread and butter. The high rate of fire of HE, the high rate of fire of AP works well depending on the target, broadside or otherwise. You just have to show up and use the guns appropriately, and you're pretty much going to be a very valuable asset because of your consumables alone. So that's the same case in 2021. Smoke is obviously not as powerful as it once was, and there's that DD. I would have loved to engage him. So you got to be careful when you use smoke. You got to size up the opposition. You don't want to pop smoke and for it to be useless, because someone was waiting right on the other side of an island ready to fire on you. That's not cool. So, make sure that you have good understanding of the enemy's deployment before you commit all in on a smoke radar play. Now, in this situation, we're just using the island to block line of sight while we fire over it. And, this is going to be a very reliable strategy, and it's one that I would honestly encourage every single player to do, and I'm trying to make sure that I am still in cover, but able to fire. And while all that's going on, I'm considering what could the DD potentially do. I try to pop Hydro just in case he might be coming towards me. I'm curious to see his plan, but I am very low. So it does come with a sort of a measured choice. I want to see him, but I want to have an idea that he's there first before I commit to smoke radar. So if, for whatever reason, I see him, and of course we do, I want to rely on that smoke radar. Now, we're too close. We blew him out. He's going to fire on us. We don't have a heal, and of course, his first shot salvo. We're going to use our radar, of course, to kill him off quickly before he kills us. We earned Kraken, but he kills us too. And that's just, the glass cannon nature of it. I would probably be more disappointed with the damage I took in that one instance. I think it was like 20,000 damage, if it wasn't for all the work that we did up front. There was no way the enemy was ever coming back unless all my teammates threw their lives away. So I could rely on what the Belfast does well and playing to its strengths. And the Belfast is reliable for consumable usage. It has great rate of fire. It has AP and HE, which most of the British light cruisers have no access to HE. And it does all of this very well in a tier 7 package. So I was pleasantly surprised by all of the success that I had, not only in this Belfast, but in other mid-tier ships. And I want to try and share my experience with you guys, because I know between all the different things and the game changes, it can be a huge burden to try and understand, especially when you're just trying to make it through life. So hopefully this Belfast game and the build made sense so that you guys can, take that and run with it. Obviously, we did a great job in this game. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, and you can choose to subscribe. If you dislike it, dislike it. We make World of Warship videos, first impression, how-to, news, review. My North American recruit invite is on the screen. You can take advantage of that. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.